Today we're diving into something that a lot of people underestimate when they're quoting a paint job: design complexity. Once you move past a single color or a simple graphic, the amount of work that goes into a design can change the price dramatically. In this video, we're going to use these bags and lids for the Street Glide to show you exactly why. So stick around and find out why multicolored, layered design paint jobs demand such a premium price tag. Hey everybody, it's Pac-Man from Drunk Monkey Garage. If this is the first video you've seen of ours and you're interested in the pricing series, I suggest you check out the playlist for the rest of the videos in this series. In the first episode, we prepped the fairing and repainted the bag lids to the factory color. In episode 2, we finalized our design and painted the fairing and went over the major factors that go into quoting a custom paint job. In episode 3, we worked on the tank and the fender and discussed how skill level affects the pricing. In this video, we're going to work on laying out our design on the bags and the lids, and we're going to discuss how design complexity affects the pricing. When a customer asks why custom paint costs what it does, they're usually thinking about color. But color is actually one of the simpler parts of the job. What really drives price is the layout, symmetry, masking, layering, and timing between coats. Every new graphic line means more tape, more measuring, more spraying, more drying time, and more chances to make mistakes. All of that equals labor time. Masking is where the complexity really starts to show. Every line in a design gets taped. Layered graphics require multiple rounds of masking and unmasking. Each new color or effect means more time spent taping and protecting previous layers. Sometimes we have to use clear coat in between layers to protect the layer beneath. This is why a simple paint job can be affordable, but a multi-layered graphic can quickly move into premium pricing. Before any paint touches these bags, we have to lay out the design. We're going to have to establish center lines, follow body lines, and make sure both bags match perfectly. Because once the paint goes down, there's no undo button. We're going to continue the candy crystal green scallops that we did on the tank, fender, and fairing. Most of the time on a custom paint job isn't spraying paint. It's making the design look right before the gun ever comes out. Depending on the parts, painting can take as little as 30 minutes, but the layout on that may take up to 3 hours. Motorcycle parts bring a unique set of challenges to a layout. Parts may have different angles from one side to the other. Most surfaces have multiple curves, and bag lids opening can change the design alignment. Another huge factor in pricing that painters think about, but customers don't, is the risk factor. A simple stripe can easily be redone if it's not right, but a complex design can cost you hours, if not days, to fix, depending on the severity of the mistake. The more complex the design, the more expensive the mistake. So right now, we have sprayed the silver over the scallop graphics, and this is what you would call a Tier 1 custom paint job. This is a simple graphic with one color. If we were to pull the tape at this point and clear coat this, depending on the amount of parts you had on the bike, if it was a simple 3-part front fender, rear fender, tank, you're looking at $800 to $1,500 on average for a simple graphic like this. But we're going to take this and we're going to take it up to the next level. Our next step is to spray the metal flake over these scallops, and then after that we will put down a protective clear. Once again, I used my mixture of iridescent and silver flake from Limeline and sprayed it with my Flake Beast from American Dream Custom Paint. So this is where the Tier 1 custom paint job ends. You've got one taping session, one set of graphics, and we did do 2 coats, but they were both silver. One was metal flake. At this point on a Tier 1 paint job, you would just untape everything and lay down your final clear. What we're going to do today is take it beyond Tier 1 into Tier 2. We're going to take off the tape and hit it with some lockdown clear to protect what we have already. Then we're going to remask and prepare for the crystal pattern, which is what we will put the candy over after it's finished. Put down 3 good coats of PPG SC300 Clear using my Beast spray gun from American Dream. This smoothed out the texture of the flake and tape lines. After I let the clear cure for a couple of days, I proceeded to wet sand it to get all the tape lines out and smooth down the surface to prepare it for the crystal. This is where Tier 2 and Tier 3 multi-layered custom paint jobs become time consuming, because in between each layer you have to put a lockdown clear and then you have to smooth that clear out to prepare for the next layer. Demasking for another layer of graphics can sometimes be more difficult than the initial layout. This is because you must follow your paint edges exactly in order to keep your lines crisp and sharp. When I'm masking off for my crystal solution, I like to use plastic where I can so the solution doesn't bleed through the tape onto the masked off areas. So we've got a nice, unusually warm day today. It's about 69 degrees in the booth. We've got about 59% humidity. So what we're gonna do is try to get our crystal solution on and see how that turns out. I'm a little concerned that it's a little too warm, but the humidity should help it form some nice crystals. I put some plastic down on the floor. That'll help catch any of the runoff of the crystal solution, keep my booth floor pretty clean. So here we go. right, so now we're gonna let that evaporate and see what we've got. If we were to put the candy green directly over the metal flake scallops, that would be more of a tier 2 custom paint job. Kind of venturing into a tier 3 level paint job with the crystal effects, but we have to do the crystal effects before we put on the candy green to make it look right. The crystal effects process adds material costs and a lot of time to your project. This is what puts it in the upper tiers of the custom painting process. And after a little bit of sanding with a gray Scotch pad, we're ready to tape off again and apply the green candy. When I unmasked this stage, I didn't pull the fine line tape, so all I had to do was go back over and remask the areas where the tape got wet when I cleaned off the crystal. This made this masking stage a little bit easier, and a little less time consuming. So it's taken quite a bit of time and effort to get to this point, but we're ready to put down the green candy over the crystal. So I'm going to get masked up, we're going to get in the booth and get this green down. So as you can see, complex designs add a lot of steps to your process. We're at 14 steps so far just on the bags and lids, and this is without even doing the final sanding and buffing. So far in this project, we are on the bags and lids, we've got 18.45 hours, almost 18 and a half hours. That equates to $1,476. The materials used on the bags and lids was $244. This is a little more than what was on the fairing just because I'm using a better clear. We're going to go back over the other parts with this clear as well. So minus final buffing and sanding, our grand total at this point is $5,305.69. So as you can see, complexity does add up really quick. It not only adds labor time, but it adds material costs to your process. A simple paint job is about picking the right color and spraying it correctly. A complex paint job is about design, layout, and layers. You have to pick a design that works with the vehicle that you're working on. This takes time, skill, and creativity. Most importantly, you have to come up with a design that the customer is going to be happy with. It may come from an idea that they have, or it may come from something that you suggest. But either way, in the end, the customer has to be happy with it. Things that seem simple to a non-painter can quickly take a paint job from tier 1 to tier 3. So in quoting a paint job, it's important to stay in good contact with the customer and explain to them exactly what's involved in every design element. This way, they're not surprised at the end when you come up with a quote that's $5,000 to $10,000. So we have the majority of the parts done as far as painting is concerned. All that's left is wet sand and final buffing. We do have a few small parts that we're going to finish up. In the next episode, we'll get those parts taken care of. We will also discuss what drives prices the most in your local area, and that's the local market. We'll also look into some alternate marketing methods, such as online marketing and social media. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications of future videos. And until next time, cheers.